The biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, Stevie Nicks. Didn't she go to like East or Judge High School for like 5 minutes? We call her Utah's own Stevie Nicks. All right? We're efforting that. Trying to figure out if she was I think
it was for 2 years.
Was it Judge or was it East? I always get it mixed up.
Roseanne
was it one of those schools at one point too? Utah's own Roseanne bar.
Yeah, it's crazy what people filtered in and out of here at some point.
It's all good. Welcome back to the program. Yeah, some Stevie Nicks, some Fleetwood Mac. Love it. Good pick on a Monday. I needed that. I need a little jam, chill music. Do you remember that song made a resurgence because that guy longboarded down a hill?
That's right. Drinking the cranberry.
Drinking the ocean spray?
Yeah.
And like ocean spray's all ocean spray.
Alex knows who that is.
Ocean spray started throwing money at him. He got like a new car.
Yeah.
I mean, that
pretty
was
crazy what happens if you go viral for doing who knows what.
It's just crazy that people are still buying ocean spray.
That's true too.
What are you digging into here? Some cran raspberry.
I'm dying. I'm thirsty. And you got some ocean spray in the fridge?
I needed something that makes my face go sideways because of how tart it is.
I like the pain.
It's a little tart.
I like the pain. I like to feel things.
All right. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars, not ocean spray. And we're glad to have you along on the program. I'll ride a longboard into the studio right now.
I would love to see you on a longboard.
I wouldn't make it through the threshold. I used to be coordinated. I'm not gonna. I've seen too many videos on the internet.
I think there's rules that anyone over the age of 35 can't use a longboard.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I follow a guy on Twitter. He does the.
You can't get insured if you're
He does these card reveals like expansion packs for like Magic, and I'm like, that's not my vibe. But he popped up on my feed because he pretends to be one of those guys, has like a long dark trench coat on.
Yeah, of course.
And it's divorced dad expansion pack. So he gets the stuff out and it's like, oh, longboard. Oh, that's a popular one. Like
divorced dad
expansion pack, and it's like it's so many. It's just like all these stereotypes of like.
That's just sad.
I know, but I laugh at it because people are freaking funny on the internet, man. Humans are funny.
Yes, we are.
They can be bad and they can be amazingly funny. All right. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar perfect for anybody who needs that quick, tasty, nutritious boost. Let's jump in here. We got some stuff to break down. I've got some audio for you to hear. The college football playoff and the Big 12, they do not mix this year. And so we'll get into it right here with the cut. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, this portion of the show brought to you by an incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, and now Mitsubishi in the family of the Doug Smith dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork. And, of course, you can find them now in Linden as well at that Kia dealership. It's brand new and beautiful. We're going to be at the Mitsubishi on Friday again. So there you go. Oh, they just showed the stupid knee injury that McCaffrey had.
I'm worried about Christian McCaffrey. He cannot stay healthy.
Is he just going to be one of these guys that could have been?
We see running backs just break down, man. The demands on their body are so high. You just see these young running backs who all of a sudden have been in the league for 7-8 years. They just can't stay healthy, and that would suck if Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's out for 6 weeks. Christian McCaffrey is, which basically means he's done for the year.
And it's awful to watch too, because you see him, and you know what it is? You have this snow that got piled up on the fields, and what they do is they shovel it.
Yeah.
And it was definitely like a mound of snow he stepped right on. It was definitely a different.
Yeah.
It was definitely a different, it was just a big bump in the road, in a way. So, all right, let me see here. This popped up right before our Big 12 show yesterday. We were listening to it. And Mitch Harper and I got into this because it's just a fascinating look. Joey McGuire, Texas Tech head coach, he explains kind of just the confusion of why the branding of the Big 12 is looked at as like, this lesser of the P4 conferences. And he brings up some really, really amazing points, not just about the Big 12 and maybe the respect that the conference should get, but also at just how hypocritical the entire process is with the College Football Playoff Committee. Here's what he said about the College Football Playoff. This is in his press conference post-game after they won the final game of the season for them in the regular season. Here's what Joey McGuire said.
Man, I think the narrative of college football right now is really screwed up, and I'm gonna kind of talk about that. It comes down to a patch, I guess, that's on your jersey, because, now stick with me, if Texas wins the SEC, that means a Big 12 team from last year won the SEC. If Oregon wins the Big 10, that means a Pac-12 team won the Big 10. And if Arizona State, now whoever's playing, but Arizona State's got a chance to play in the Big 12 championship, so that means a Pac-12 team won the Big 12. And then if SMU wins the ACC, that means an American team won the ACC. So I think it's absolutely embarrassing what this football committee and, we got to back up what we need to do on the field so they get pissed off at me. But it's absolutely embarrassing what they're doing to this conference. And if they look at it that way and they sit there and say, who's playing the best football, who's the most competitive conference, who week in and week out, what you see on tape and the games that you got to play, I think the Big 12 should be in. The Big 12 champion should be in the Final Four, right? And then when teams are talking about multiple teams, depending on who plays in that game, they should have multiple teams. I think it's absolutely ridiculous what is happening at that level with that committee, and just go back and think about that. I guess whenever you're a year away and you just change your patch on your jersey, that it actually means something, that you're in a different conference and that conference is all powerful.
He's dead freaking right.
Yes, he is.
He nailed it. And you know what? So I'm looking at the conference standings here. And the thing that got kind of buried in there is really the only thing that matters, which is, yeah, but if you would have had that one-loss team, or even two one-loss teams, ask the Big Ten. Indiana will have only played one ranked team this year, and they got the doors blown off of them by that one ranked team.
And that team lost to Michigan.
And that team just lost to Michigan. Hey, Indiana, good job. You beat Purdue 66-0. You're not even the first team that put 66 on Purdue this year. Notre Dame did the same thing. Okay? And I'm not saying Indiana's bad. What I'm saying is that they played the softest dang schedule. And if people want to say the Big 12 is soft, then they're missing the point here.
Yeah.
But it's just a numbers game. Oregon's undefeated. No question where they're going to be. All right? Indiana has one loss. They don't even have to play in the Big Ten championship game. They're going to be in the college football playoff by virtue of the fact that they won that game, or they lost against Ohio State, and then just sit back now and relax, and get to that first round of the college football playoff. Penn State also lost to Ohio State, one of the only good teams they played this year. But now Ohio State's 10-2. Do you think the committee's going to be they're going to trip over themselves to make sure Ohio State's in there?
Yes.
But here's the thing. You can't argue with 12-0, 11-1, 11-1, and 10-2. Those are your top four teams. But let me bring you over to the best conference in the country, the SEC.
Where it just means more.
It's an absolute freaking mess over there, all right? And you're talking about Texas, who's 11-1. You have no undefeated teams. Then you go 10-2 Georgia, 10-2 Tennessee. Both those teams are going to get in.
Locks.
Alabama is 5-3 in conference play, and they're probably going to be in the conference, or they're probably going to be in the college football playoff.
With a 9-3 record.
Okay?
They have losses to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Oklahoma.
The Big 12 absolutely consumed itself this year. Your top three teams in the conference are 10-2. Arizona State, Iowa State, BYU. Okay? The reality is that it's not just the perception thing, and here's where Joey McGuire's a little bit wrong. And you can't plan for this. But Arizona State, I could see Arizona State beating, out of the 12 teams that are going to get in the college football playoff, I could see them being better than 10 of them, 9 or 10 of them. That's how good
Which
of
means
football.
they should be in.
They're playing college football. They're playing the best football they've played in decades right now. They're peaking, man, right here. Iowa State does not feel like a team that should be in the conference championship game. BYU doesn't like you can look and go, dang it, what could have been? But they're just not playing good football
Not
right now. Fine.
But BYU will be 10-2. Do they deserve to be in ahead of a 9-3 Alabama?
And by the way, they beat the only loss that the ACC champion's going to have, SMU, I think they're going to roll, is going to be to BYU. And then they have a loss to Arizona State, who's probably a top 10 team in reality, and then to Kansas. So Arizona State you lose to, and then you lose to Kansas. That's basically like Ohio State's done, which is lose to a really highly ranked team and then lose to a team you had no business freaking losing to.
Truth is, Arizona State and Ohio State probably have similar resumes, but the perception, and that's what we're getting at here.
Yeah.
The perception's going to be totally different. Well, Ohio State's Ohio State. Arizona State was supposed to finish last. They've been bad for a while. We can't possibly put them ahead of Ohio State. Well, you could.
Well, and part
based
of the reason
on resume.
Here's part
and
of
that's
the
what
thing
we're
too.
supposed to be doing here, right?
So Texas Tech is 6-3 in conference, right? Now Alabama's 5-3 because they only play 8 games in their conference.
Yes.
And so really out of their 9-3 record, that Mercer win they got a couple weeks ago, does that feel good? Come on. Like I can't believe it. They're going to figure out a way for Alabama to be in the college football playoff.
With 3 losses, yes. I told you this a month ago. Here it comes.
Makes me sick, man. And Joey McGuire nailed it. They're not playing like he's like, look, we got to back it up on the field. And that should be the end. Coaches will say that, but the coaches now have to be these marketing managers and PR managers for their program.
Right.
And for their conference and go, we should be in. There's a reason Nick Saban goes, "Oh, you got to get a 3-loss team in the college football playoff in the SEC. You really want if Iowa State upsets Arizona State, I would actually make the argument also that Iowa State probably doesn't deserve to be in a college football playoff. Like, this doesn't feel like a team that's playing good football right now.
Right.
That's why I think they're going to get beat up by Arizona State anyway. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'd be an 11-2 team, champion of the Big 12. And people would look at them and they'd be a 12 seed, And the conference has to do a better job of propping itself up.
Miami's 10-2. They've been ranked in the top 10 all year. They're not getting in.
It helps to lose early, and it helps to be ranked early.
Yep.
And those are two things that
Miami's screwed. They're done.
Miami loses to Syracuse. They could have walked in the college football playoff, man.
Yeah.
Because they would have, even if they would have lost in the ACC championship
It would have been
game,
a done deal.
It would have been SMU and Miami, and those would be your 2 reps. The SEC or the ACC right now is going, dang it, Miami.
They could have got 2 teams in.
We're only going to get 1 in now. Now that's I say that, but SMU might get in if they get a second loss if they lose to Clemson. But the argument is there, and he's making it well. And Chris Kleiman is the other half of this equation. That last week when he said, we can't make it harder on ourselves, man. Just do it. Put an FCS team in the middle of your stinking schedule in the middle of the year. What's the SEC going to do? Go, they don't play a tough schedule. We just did the exact same stupidity you just do.
Yeah, we're doing what you do. We're just following your example.
Oh, we booked New Mexico State middle of the year. New Mexico State might be a bad example now. Hey, we just signed up and put UMass on the schedule. Yes, who played UMass a couple weeks ago? From the SEC. Someone is stupid. Tennessee or something. No, Tennessee played UTEP. Good job. 2 weeks ago. We're in the middle of the freaking college football season. You're playing UTEP and Mercer and Furman? Come on. And then you wonder, but see, that's them playing the game. And you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to shift the way they do it. You have to adjust to them. You got to adjust to the SEC. You got to make it easy on yourself.
The only thing that's going to change his perception is if Big 12 goes and beats them. Arizona State, you're going to have to go cause some chaos.
Do conferences have to have a minimum number of conference games they play?
No.
Play 7. Hey, go big or go home, Big 12. Play 7 conference games and book yourself with
2 FCS games.
Yes, a directional school somewhere.
How many times can you play New Mexico State in a season? Do that, unless you're Auburn.
Oh, who signed up to play? Is it Boise State or not Boise State? Is it Washington State and Oregon State? They're playing each other twice next year.
Yeah.
home and home in the same season.
Remember, they didn't want to deal with the Mountain West. That's how that whole thing started.
Actually, we're playing each other 3 times this year. 6 of our games are Pac-12 games, or 3 of our games are Pac-12 games. When's the new Pac-12 go into effect, by the way?
2026?
The Utah State version.
Yeah, 2026.
Yeah. I just am done with the whole thing, man. This is like, I have a friend who is dead set on that the mafia runs the NFL, okay? And for years, I've just been like, you are a nutcase, bro. Stop it. It's like the Uber Eats commercials. They're not trying to get us to buy food, and then then you start looking around and you go, actually, that's exactly what they're doing. Gamble, buy beer, buy food.
Jerry Rice.
I'm telling you, I am now fully in the conspiracy of the SEC and the college football playoff. It's not a tinfoil hat. I'm wearing a tinfoil suit right now. You can't even see it.
I can't tell you how hard I was cheering for Georgia Tech the other day.
I know.
I wanted that win so bad.
But part of you, it's because you're a glutton for punishment too. You wanted to have them try to explain in 2 3-loss SEC teams.
Well, they would have had to because Georgia would have ended up being they still would have been in the
SEC championship game. And then they give a call and they go, hey,
and then they win
Texas,
it with 3 losses
Texas,
and a loss to Georgia Tech.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
By the way, you can't call it overtime. Don't call it 8 overtimes when it's a battle of 2-point conversions.
It's disingenuous.
Can we not do that?
It really is.
Just say overtime now in college football. Just say overtime. Because when they got to the 8th one, you're like, yeah, but it took 7 minutes to get you through these first 7 overtimes. All right? What a game, though. That was fun to watch. The back and forth is crazy. My niece goes to Georgia, and my brother and his family, their parents or her parents were there, and they're like, "Why is everybody cheering against Georgia? You know, your niece goes to Georgia." I go, "Are you freaking kidding me right now? Why are we cheering against Georgia? We rooted against the Axis powers in World War II too. All right, those are the bad guys, man. Those are the bad guys. I'm not going to cheer for the bad guys, okay? All right, we'll take a break. I'm sure I'll have to apologize for comparing Georgia to the Axis powers.
That was not far off.
Aggressive.
I hate the SEC. I cannot tell you how much I hate them.
So much I don't like them.
Ugh.
Okay.
It's all. It feels all. Look. I know they've won on the national championships and stuff like that, but they've cut every corner. None of those teams go out and play anybody outside of their league, and they know each other in the league so well. Yeah. When do they actually go out and play other guys? Look, what Alabama did it last year against Texas and got their butts kicked.
Alabama. All right.
They don't do it.
Let's take a break. I got to get to our power poll too at some point. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. I just want to get your thoughts on it. We'll come back. We got more to go. Cole Bagley, our Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com, is going to join us. How about the 6-0 drubbing of the other Axis powers in our lives? The Golden Knights of Vegas. The bad guys.
I've started to not like them.
Yeah, I told you. It happens. Boy, and I don't know. I just found myself going 6-0, huh? Crazy. All right, we'll come back. We've got more to go. Cole Bagley will join us next. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. With complete coverage of the Utah Hockey Club, this is Cole Bagley of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate your youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. It's a program that we love being able to have on this show. We love honoring those youth sports volunteers in your neighborhood. Somebody doing a phenomenal job with your kids, helping the coaching, doing the team mom thing, giving them rides everywhere. You can be that Hercules Hero yourself, and you can also nominate somebody else who does a phenomenal job in your neighborhood. Just go to KSLSports.com/contest. That's KSLSports.com/contest. And you can nominate that youth sports volunteer. We honor them on our shows on Thursday, and they win a gift card from Hercules Credit Union and $200 to Beehive Meals. It's awesome. So go nominate that person. You probably have someone in your head right now who does a great job, and they don't do it for the accolades, but we can give them some, okay? Let's do it. Joining us right now on the program, you heard the intro, Cole Bagley, Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. Well, Cole, the team's back to even, 10-4 now, 24 points on the year. With the help, I feel like they should have gotten an extra bonus point for that 6-0 win over Las Vegas the other night. I look up, and we've got all these college football games we're following, and it's 6-0 with 10 minutes left in the second period. I don't know if that's the best performance this team has had, or where do you think in this short tenure of this franchise where that win over Vegas, down in Vegas, stands?
Yeah, I would put it right up there as one of the best, if not the best. You score 6 goals. You don't allow any, and shutouts are very difficult to come by in the NHL. The power play was good. The penalty kill was good. I mean, it really was a complete game. They didn't fall apart in the second period, which they've had an issue with as of late. So, yeah, it was easily the most complete game. They did have a little bit of luck, pucks bouncing their way. But still, 6 goals. Nick Schmaltz gets his first and second. Carcone gets his first. Keller gets his first on October 30th. It was a really good game, a lot of fun to watch.
The offense has been different this past week. What changed? What's allowed them to get more goals in these last few games than they were when they went through that dry spell?
Yeah, I had a really good conversation with Mikhail Sergachev last week, just asking him, how have things been going lately? Why the sudden outburst of goals? And his answer was pretty phenomenal. He said, the skill is always there, and the skill will eventually take over. But what we have to do is put in the work. And that's what they've been doing, ever since the season started, but especially over the last few weeks. That work is finally being rewarded, and that work is finally meeting that skill, and the results are coming. And, watching the last few games, like you mentioned, they look more fluid. And I think what it is you're getting incredible production out of the young guys. Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, Jack McBain are just coming into their own right now, right before our eyes. I mean, Dylan Gunther is already a star. Logan Cooley is an incredibly balanced player, very crafty, very fast. And Jack McBain has this ridiculous net front presence. But what it's been paired with over the last few games is veteran contributions. Lawson Krause finally scores after, about 6 weeks. Like I said, Schmaltz and Carcone and Keller, finally score for the first time for some of those guys. And, it had been a month since Keller had lit the lamp. So I think it's just all kind of, it's starting to come together. This team is starting to figure out its identity. And they're a good hockey team. They have a lot of talent. They have some very good players. It's crazy how depleted the defense, is. Not just Dursey and Marino, but Lamoureux's out now for, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. But they just continue to answer the call. And you're getting as well between Pamelka and Stauber. So everybody's kind of, lifted their efforts. And the hard work is finally meeting the talent, and rewards have been obvious.
So one of the things that's happened with this team too is they'll have results like although I think that was their first shutout as a Utah hockey club, right? And so, and of course they do it with what would be, I guess, on paper the third goalie, for this team. So, but they've done this before where they have these amazing performances, maybe on a one-off night. How do they maintain some success there and not just string together like one night, but maybe throw together a win streak of 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, it's finding consistency, right? It's playing a full 60 minutes. When you look back at a lot of these games, I would argue that for the vast majority of them, even for some of the games where they lost by a few goals, but more in terms of, the game against Toronto, the game against Boston, Utah Hockey Club was the better team for 40 to 50 minutes of those games, but it's these small stretches of 5 to 8 to 10 minutes, mostly in the second period as of late, where they just kind of fall apart. And so I think what it's going to take is composure, and that's what we saw against Vegas. Is they were composed. They went up 4 goals in the first period. They went into the second. They stayed composed. They knew what they had to do. They didn't try to do anything crazy. I mean, that's kind of been what Coach has talked about. Is when things kind of start to go a certain way, the wrong way, the guys start gripping their sticks a little tighter. They take things too much on their own. They try to be a hero, but it was a complete team effort. So for me, if they can, they're not going to beat everybody 6-0 every single night. In fact, that's probably not going to happen too many more times. But if they can get a similar effort to the way they played against Vegas, where the young guys are kind of leading that energy, the veterans are stepping up and fulfilling their roles, helping lead the team, and they just get good, solid composure, playing hockey the right way, playing their brand of hockey, they can put together some good stretches. I mean, winning 3 out of the last 5 has been huge because they're still in that playoff race, and the division is very tight. And if they could string together 3 or 4 wins here, they could jump up to 3rd or 4th, which would be a good place to be in December.
Jack McBain scored 8 goals last year in 67 games. He has 8 goals this year in 24. Was this expected from him, and how sustainable is this?
No, I don't think it was expected at all. Not that he's not a talented player or that he's a bad player at all. He's talented, but I think what it's been is has a lot to do with him being on that second line, with Cooley and with Gunther. That line has been a huge conversation piece lately amongst the media and other teams because they're producing so heavily. That line has led in goals over the last 2-3 weeks. They've had about half the goals that the team has scored. Each of those guys has managed a point for the most part over the last 5 or 6 games. I think Cooley's up to 6, Gunther's at 5. I think Jack had 3 or 4 games in a row. And so I think Cooley and Gunther has kind of been the key to unlocking McBain in a lot of ways because, Cooley has his speed, craftiness, and creativity. Gunther's a sharpshooter, and it opens up so much space. And then you add McBain into that trio, he's a net presence. He's a physical guy, and he opens up space for the other 2 guys. So that's why they're producing so many goals. I think it's sustainable if they can continue to play the way that they have. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if, maybe he goes a couple games, he doesn't get a couple of goals. But I wouldn't be overly surprised either if we look at by the end of the season, McBain's got 20 to 25 goals. Do I think it's going to be as many as he has over the last couple of weeks? No, but he's clearly taken a step forward, and that line is hot right now.
Cole, one of the speaking of hot right now, the Dallas Stars are a pretty darn good team in this division, and it's already a stacked division, and they're one of the. I mean, so we've seen the Jets kind of regress a little bit to maybe more of what the mean was. I mean, they start off 13-1. I think they're 18-7 now. And
lost 3 in a row. Yeah,
they've lost 3 in a row, and I think that they even relinquished that top spot in the division to the Wild right now. But Dallas is right there. Dallas is a 30-plus point club, and they do really well. They've won 7 out of their last 10. And so what do they have to do tonight here at Delta Center to defend the ice and maintain what's going on here? Because that's a really, really good Dallas team. And what is it that Dallas does so well?
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is a veteran team. Guys like Tyler Seguin and DeSmith, their window of opportunity is not closing, but they're moving into that window of, hey, we need to win a championship, with the roster that we have right now, and they're definitely a team to keep your eye on. They've started to figure things out. They started off, I think, kind of slow. I mean, this division has been crazy to start this year. I mean, the teams that were supposed to be dominating have not been. The teams that weren't supposed to be, have been. Nobody thought that the Jets or the Wild would be this good. But they are, and Dallas, I think, has kind of come back to earth a little bit as well. They had a little bit of a rough go, but figured things back out, and they're on track. They've won a lot of games. But I think for Utah, it's just play your brand of hockey, and you're going to need Vejmelka to be good. Dallas scores a lot of goals. I think they've got the second most in the division, second or third most with about 80 goals and only 60 against. And so Vejmelka needs to be very good tonight. Utah needs to be a little bit more physical because Dallas can be physical teams at times. And the thing that Utah lucks out in is Dallas is 10-2 at home, but they're only 5-6 on the road. And so, if Utah can come out hot like they have, maybe get a goal or 2 ahead, get Delta Center into it, get the place rocking, and Vejmelka has a good night, which no reason to think he won't. Utah should have a pretty good chance to win this game.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Vejmelka because I wanted to ask you about the goalie situation right now. It sounds like Connor Ingram's not going to be back for a while, and Vejmelka has just been red hot. But then Jackson Stauber comes out and has the game of his life. I mean, it looks pretty good despite having an injury to your projected starter coming into the season. Things look pretty good there, and they've done a really good job at that position.
Yeah, Vejmelka has been incredible. It's his net. I think even if Ingram wasn't out with injury, that it would be Vejmelka's net. That the shift, towards who would be number one goaltender would be in favor of Vejmelka. He's just been, It's almost like he has a sixth sense of where the puck's going before someone takes the shot. He's had a remarkable stick to break up a lot of passes in the crease. He's been very, very quick to react. His reflexes are pristine. So, and then Stauber, I mean, this is a guy that only played 6 NHL games before the other night against Vegas. He hasn't played, I believe, for 2 years in the NHL. And all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and posts the shutout against one of the best teams in the NHL. So, while Utah has had some bad luck this year, they've had some injuries to key players, especially on the blue line, and now with Connor Ingram, guys are stepping up, and that is what makes good teams. That's how teams, go on runs and they get into the playoffs, is guys that are maybe unexpected to do so step up and answer the call. And that's kind of been, part of the theme of this season for the Utah Hockey Club is that they are very talented. They've got some young depth. They have some good veterans. They've had some, extreme up and downs, but they have also had some incredible guys, just step up and play when they've needed to be at their best.
Utah Hockey Club and the Dallas Stars tonight over at Delta Center. It's going to be a fun one, and you're going to get the puck drop at 7, but of course you'll get your Utah Hockey Club pregame show. I think it's just hockey night in Utah, man. That's the show you got to listen to now. That's what you do. That's what I do on the way home. I've become a Utah Hockey Club pregame listener because you know what? We got to all learn a little bit more about this hockey team, and it's really fun. They're 10-10-4 on the season, and they're right there in the middle of that division. So Cole Bagley, appreciate the time you take. He's our Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. We'll talk to you next week, Cole.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
there you
Cole.
go. Yeah, they got to string together more than just like a one-off blow-up game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's got to be some consistency if they want to make the playoff. They're just below the line right now.
And losing the overtime games that they were winning earlier in the season.
Yeah, the one Friday hurt.
It's nice to get that 1 point, but yeah, there's
you
a lot
jump
of
out against the defending Western Conference champs. You jump out to a lead like that, and then you can't hold on to it, and then you lose it in overtime. Those are the games that hurt. The games where they play really well, and they're the better team for most of it, but they have a slip up at the end. Yeah. That's what they've got to clean up, and that's the difference right now between them and these other teams we're talking about.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have our Sucks to Be You segment coming up. The people who it currently sucks to be you after a weekend of full sports to take in. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Basking in the sports misfortune of others to help make you feel just a little bit better about yourself. As JJ and Alex present,
yes, we got beat. We got beat badly.
It Sucks to Be You.
Let's get the old blood pumping there, JJ.
Yeah.
Being back in high school
Rage
again?
Against the Machine. Alex doesn't know how old this music is. It's actually older than you, but it sounds like it was made yesterday because it's awesome.
Oh yeah, we walked around the hallways with yelling out with a pocket full of shells. You know, when you're in high school, you're
rally
like,
around the family.
That was on and this was on all of our highlight films too. In high school, you're like, oh yeah. Well, because this is how we play. You can make any hit look like it's the best hit ever when Rage Against the Machine's in the background.
Yeah.
Gosh, we were so good. And you're like, actually, it's the soundtrack.
Yes.
Oh, we've got a lot to break down, of course, here for you. We have tons to lament, things that could have been. But the people who it really stinks to be, because BYU fans might be in the dumps right now, right? But it really does not suck to be
Mixed
a BYU fan
emotions is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good. I mean, you lose 2 out of the last 3, and it's just recency.
Yeah.
It's just the way you feel about the team right now is not
What would you
great.
rather do?
Yeah.
Lose 2 or 3 to start the season, but make the championship game, or lose them right now and
no,
start 9-0?
It really does help to lose earlier than it does later.
It does. That's just the reality
bonkers.
of it.
you pointed it out, is it's a perfect example. It's like, yeah, but that Northern Illinois team was really red hot when they took on Notre Dame.
It's a different Notre Dame team than in September. You can't really hold that against them. It was in September.
You can't hold that against them. That is what people are saying these days. That's what they say. Don't hold that loss against them. Well, don't worry, because all of these losses are going to be held against everybody.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the SEC. So there you go.
Yeah.
Here's what we have. People who it currently sucks to be. Oh, my goodness. This weekend was just
It's a long list.
The trail, and I could have just kept going, too. Sucks to be Taysom Hill right now, out for the season with the ACL now officially confirmed that it was a tear.
He was killing it, too.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is think about the beginning of his career. New Orleans fans, even when he was like performing as well as he did, the jury was still way out. They were like, ugh. Sean Payton knew what he had.
Well, they viewed him as a quarterback.
Right, and then they're like, I don't like this guy. Oh, man, I cringe every time that former BYU guy gets in. And I'm telling you right now, let me tell you how the tune has changed in New Orleans. I don't think there's a more loved guy
No doubt.
on that team. A team that needs leadership, by the way, and he's got the C on the chest. When he got hurt yesterday, by the way, got the first down on like a 3rd and short.
Yeah.
Got the first down, tears the ACL.
Took a shot right on the knee if you haven't seen the video.
It looked ugly, but
I was expecting it to be worse, actually.
it looked like at the beginning I thought he was knocked out because he kind of hit his own guy and he
Yeah.
sort of went down limp. But it was no. Then you look at it later and you go, oh, my goodness, you see that knee just blow up.
It went the wrong way.
So Taysom Hill out for the season, but the crowd was doing this Taysom chant. It was just bonkers. The whole place was blowing up. And you have people who will come out of the woodwork and go like, well, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. But you literally had a ton of people going, hey, this dude's a future Hall of Famer because of what he's doing, the way he's doing it. I don't know if that's the case.
I hate to say this, but he's 35 years old.
You wonder how much longer he's got.
Was that it?
No,
Is that how it ends? I hope not.
Aaron Rodgers turned 41 today, and he's proven you can come back and lose
Aaron
football
Rodgers
games.
is playing quarterback, and he's playing it poorly. What Taysom does.
You can come back at 41 and lose football games all day, and people will still put up with you.
Taysom will be 35 next year
goodness.
when the preseason's taking place.
Sucks to be the UCF Knights, who lost the head coach right after the game and about 50 players. Their transfer portal hit hard immediately after that loss to Utah on Friday night. And Gus Malzahn doing the Gus Malzahn thing, which is you move out of town in the dark. Good job, Gus, taking that job at Florida State as the OC. Sucks to be the Big 12. Sucks to be the Big
It's
12.
just crazy.
Who is just absolutely taking it in the shorts compared to the other conferences. And you have an amazing year with like teams performing just phenomenally well. And all it looks like is that you're just going to get one team into the college football playoff. And so then you just look
And
at
barely.
it.
Number 12 will probably be the ranking.
Tulane, sucks to be you. You were on track to being something?
If they were on track to be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, they were. Sucks to be Trevor Lawrence. That hit that he took yesterday was ugly. No place in football for it.
Sucks to be the guy that hit him when he gets the fine.
Yeah. It was just bad. And he apologized today. Al-Shair, right? The linebacker for the Texans. He apologized today, but he has too long of a list of egregious
fool
hits
me
like
once,
this
right?
to make you think. It's just a guy who can't turn it off. And a lot of people look at that like it's that's the end all in football, but you guys got to protect yourselves here. Or you got to look out for everybody, including the guys who are taking on. Sucks to be the Jets. I said that selfishly because my Seahawks got the win yesterday.
It's always sucked to be the Jets.
Oh, they're a bad organization. Look, the Giants aren't the worst franchise in New York. Good for them. You're always going to have the Jets to be able to lean on.
How cool is it for the Giants that they're actually worse, but the Jets take all the attention away from them?
It's great.
Nobody's talking about how bad the Giants are.
Sucks to be the pepper sprayed players at the Michigan-Ohio State midfield. I think it was mostly Michigan players that got hit.
Sucks to be flags this weekend. How many flags were desecrated?
And just torn up. And
not a good weekend to be a flag.
How about that one guy who took on dudes in pads and still stole the flag back for Michigan?
That was nuts.
That was funny. But listen, if your coach came up to you and goes, hey, we're going to win this game against Ohio State this weekend. And you go, whoa, really? Well, yeah. You got to get pepper sprayed in the face, though. Would you do it? You get pepper sprayed for a win over Ohio State? All day.
Michigan fan would take it.
Oh, for sure.
In the face.
You get the pepper spray, you start coughing, getting the wheezing, getting the watery eyes, and you go, we still won.
4 in a row.
Sucks to be Justin Tucker. Once the best kicker in the history of the NFL, that number has ticked down slowly this year, actually kind of quickly.
It's crazy.
The percentage that he was the best kicker in the league, he's now I think 4th or 5th now on the list. He just keeps missing them. In fact, he's missed 4 out of the last 13 field goals from 50-plus.
He missed 2 field goals and an extra point in a game that they lost by 5 points.
They had to have it. And then sucks to be fantasy football managers who were counting on Christian McCaffrey this year, also out for the season with his knee injury.
I hate seeing the best players in the league have injury problems.
Yep.
And then another, we talked about Taysom. Is that the last time we see Taysom? How much longer can Christian McCaffrey continue to have these kind of injuries and still be at the top of his game? I mean, he's just phenomenal running back and an athlete, and we don't get to see him enough. It just stinks.
You know what?
It sucks to be the 49ers. What are they going to do now?
Look, I'm telling you right now, they're showing the warm-ups here. Bo Nix on the field at Empower Field at Mile High. And then they're taking on the Browns, and I'm always just like, oh, the Browns. Bleh. But then they show Jameis Winston, and I go, oh, I like that guy. I might be rooting for the Browns tonight. Sorry, man.
I'll forgive you. Because when the Broncos kick their butt, I'll be able to say, I'm sorry about that. You should have picked the right way.
I'm all about that Jameis Winston look, man. All right. We are going to give away some stuff. If you were listening to DJ and PK on Monday mornings like you should be, and then you listen to our show in the afternoon, if you're calling number 12 and you tell us what the play of the weekend was for them, the Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealers play of the week, you're going to get yourself a gift card from Amazon. Nice on a Cyber Monday. Come on. It's going to help with those purchases. Let's go. And if you know what that play was that DJ and PK gave out this morning, you get it. You give it back to us, and you can win yourself that Amazon gift card with an impressive lineup of cars, trucks, and SUVs. No wonder people are shifting over to Chevy. There you go. Your Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealers. Alex, any don't give it away clues you want to give us on what the play might be? Oh boy, nah. He says nah. You got to earn it. Okay. He says it's straightforward.
Okay.
All right.
Easy then. Easy money.
I will say this. It's got a local flair to it. So there you go. Don't start searching around the NFL for something. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go right around the corner. Steven Sylvester, somebody who was on the sidelines down there in Orlando, going to give us an update on this Utah team and what's going on in that locker room and what's going to go on in this offseason here. What needs to happen? Sly, never short of opinions, joins us next. 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.